Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and all offseason for college football this year, we're going to be doing individual team previews with one of our regular contributing college football handicapping analysts, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. We'll be covering a whole bunch of teams individually all the way up to kickoff. Steve, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me back, Peter.
All right, so we're going to take a look at USC right now. Now, on Pinnacle, USC's odds to win the BCS Championship are plus 5,000. That's 50 to 1. That's the 19th shortest odds overall. So right now, Pinnacle has them rated as about the 19th best team in college football right now. Steve, would you roughly agree with that?
I'm not so sure about them being ranked 19th. USC they're tough to figure out this way. Certainly, even if you take 19 as being the case, that is lower than USC has been expected to at least finish in a long time. So in terms of against the spread profitability, having a bad ranking means there are lower expectations. That is actually a good thing against the spread coming into a season.
Is it, you think? I mean, I can see for a for a lower profile team, maybe that would be, but USC, they're always going to be highly rated. So if they do have, a world-class team, then I would expect them to be, 50-50 or maybe a little bit better than 50% against the spread. But when USC comes in with, sort of an off year, on a down year, I would expect them to still, be getting a lot of support on their lines and actually be a good bet against.
I can understand why you would say that. And we wrote in the article that USC, as everyone knows, is a perennial public favorite.
Right.
In fact, over the last 10 years, they've had more than 69% of their games. The public has been the majority on their side. So that the evidence is absolutely true, bears out exactly what you're saying. But this year, without Matt Barkley, and given such a disappointing year in 2012, this could be setting up for a profitable 2013 for USC. Maybe not by much, but narrowly. And we look at what we look at when we're considering ahead of time the profitability of a team against the spread for the upcoming season. We're looking at improvement in straight up wins. We're looking at a bad preseason ranking, or no preseason ranking would be even better. And we're looking at how they did against the spread in the season immediately prior. USC had arguably their worst against the spread season in 2012 ever. Certainly their worst in over 10 years. So that's a great start. We believe, looking at their schedule, they should have more than 7 straight up wins this year. So that also bodes well. And they should have, as we just discussed, something that is not a stellar preseason ranking. It should be either non-existent or something 19 through 25. But I think in many cases they're not even going to be on a lot of people's preseason top 25 polls.
All right. Well, we will see. Of course, the odds make adjustments week by week during the regular season, so it's very difficult, almost impossible to forecast ATS performance at this point. How about, though, with respect to totals? Because USC is a team that I actually have loved to bet on totals. A bunch of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, they had a great defense, and they were a great bet on the under, especially at home. And then last year, and since Barkley came and they had the great receivers, they started to be a great bet on the over. This year, is USC looking like they're going to be more of a defense-oriented team, or are they going to have a big offensive team like they did last year?
Part of what we discussed in the article is the quarterback controversy at USC. According to Lane Kiffin, the head coach, there are 3 quarterbacks, all underclassmen, who are right in the mix for that starting job, and we won't know until fall. But we've looked over those quarterbacks very carefully, and it looks like Lane Kiffin really likes Max Wittek. But if you read the article, Max Wittek throws more interceptions than touchdowns in more games than any of the other quarterbacks. We think that right now Cody Kessler gives USC the best opportunity to have not only success on offense, but also a profitable against the spread season. So to answer your question more directly, a lot of USC's offensive production is going to depend on who they decide their starting quarterback is going to be.
So is it? Are you anticipating more of a pass-heavy offense or a run-heavy offense this year?
Obviously Marquise Lee returns, an amazing receiver, but everyone knows about him, so there certainly defenses will be keying on him. USC is looking like they have some depth, believe it or not, at running back, despite their NCAA sanctions that have limited their scholarships. They actually have depth at that position. And given a new quarterback, if you are a little bit worried as an offensive coordinator, you would lean on your running game. And with an experienced offensive line, depth at running back, I would tend to believe that this would be a slightly more run-heavy offense. But Lane Kiffin is pretty famous for balance at USC in play calling.
Great preview as always, Steve. Thanks so much.